I have stated in this very place that a certain amount of friction in life is necessary. There is such a thing as constructive friction. Check with any athlete, physicist, or debate champion. However, reducing unnecessary friction in daily interpersonal encounters seems like a goal that only the weirdest of masochists would not endorse. What personality trait, when refined, is the single greatest tool available to smooth over the rockiest of roads? Well, here's a thing. The most delightful version of my teenage daughter is a lovely creature we call Charming Macy. This captivating lass is quite a bit like a comet. She flashes by every now and then, radiating light and inspiring awe, only to disappear quickly into the void of space-time, leaving us to wonder where she went for the next 100 years or so. Now, as you know, we are nothing if not authentic here, so I must note, in the spirit of candor, that as she moves farther away from the black hole of middle school and deeper into high school, on the march toward getting out of my house, Charming Macy turns out to be a more frequent and genuine visitor. If you have one or more in that 11 to 15-year-old range, God love you and hang on. Keep fighting the good fight and you'll make it through. But I've divagated naturally. Back to Charming Macy. We are enchanted by Charming Macy. Charming Macy is helpful and uplifting. Charming Macy is whimsical and entertaining. Charming Macy can enter a room with her magical powers and leave it full of smiles and cheer on a rainbow trail of hearts and glitter. Everyone loves Charming Macy. If she could learn to harness this power, the world would never be the same, and Charming Macy could get darn near anything she wanted. Let's not tell her I said that, shall we? You see, charm is the power of giving delight and sparking admiration. And I find it bewildering that we don't work more diligently to practice this art of humanity and instill it in our children. Proceed with caution, however. Again, we strive for authenticity here, and phony charm is probably worse than grumpy old man. To wit, forcing your little kid to stand in the middle of a gathering of family and friends and perform some triviality that you find uproarious does not teach them charm. It teaches them to be a clown whose only form of validation is being the center of attention and collecting breadcrumbs of forced kudos from quasi-amused adults. See Honey Boo Boo for reference. However, having your children greet your arriving guests, hold the door for others, and clear the table, well, that's not only good manners, it's charming as hell. You get so much universal value out of teaching this trait. You are molding a human being who begins to see genuine delight in other people as a result of their simple act of service. Instead of absorbing uneasy, forced tittering from the gathered audience, one learns that real joy is created through simple acts of charm. Humans are hardwired to enjoy positive interactive experiences with one another. Were that not so, we'd all be Ted Kaczynski, and the species would have died out eons ago. We are working much, much too hard at being miserable and seeking the heroin needle of false validation from the very, very strangest of places. Practice a little charm today. Let somebody merge in difficult traffic, hold a door for someone, be genuinely glad to see someone, and let it show. Don't forget that part. Carry yourself with poise and lift your eyes up off the screen and out to the world. Let your guard down and be accessible. Tell an embarrassing story about yourself. Although let's keep it holy for the mixed company circle. Remember, we're trying to be charming here, not a stand-up comedian. Have a conversation, and instead of simply waiting for a chance to say your thing, actually listen to the other person and respond by asking them to say more about the thing they just said. More importantly, when you do all of these things, or whatever you come up with, don't forget to smile. A little bit of charm goes quite a long way in both directions. That's enough to ponder for now. This episode of the podcast is dedicated to Melody Waters. Your sister says you were mean as a snake growing up, but I don't see it. You could sell a drowning man a glass of water. You never would, but you could. You have always been one of the most genuinely charming people I know, and I'm better for having you around. Also, many thanks to the wonderful folks of Belgium, where I'm happy to say this podcast is becoming a bit of a thing. Give me a shout if you're a subscriber in Belgium. I'd love to hear from you. This week, let's see if we can add Scotland, Mexico, and West Virginia. Get it done. Let's go. A proverb says that charm is more than beauty. I say this is very true, so learn to use its capacity for good. Here's a Thing can be found on the Podbean app, iTunes, and Apple Podcast. Here's a Thing at podbean.com, Google Podcasts, and lots of other places in the podcast universe, soon to include TuneIn and iHeartRadio. Episodes will also be posted on Twitter and Facebook. Search everywhere for Here's a Thing. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Your active support is critical, so click that button. It only takes a moment to make a difference. Become a patron and donate to the cause by following the show link. Whatever you're about to do, get on after it 100% or don't bother the rest of us. You owe that to yourself because integrity matters. If you can't be anything else today, be authentic. It'll pay off.
Oh, if I just wasn't a lady, what wouldn't I tell that varmint?
Indeed, Miss Scarlet. I'm finished. Proceed with your day.